Hi everyone, it's Kristen. So the last video was X-Men 89 that had to do with Skrulls and the secret invasion to give you like a little bit of background on them. Um, it ended with the arrival of Galactus because the X-Men got displaced in time and space, and they're actually on the Skrull homeworld right before Galactus destroyed it. And Kitty has encountered these three characters, and they're confronting her, like, why are you trying to hunt us and eliminate us? How could you do that to a fellow Skrull? And that's where she realizes, oh my gosh, they're Skrulls. And Professor Xavier finally breaks through the shield, the static that's been preventing him from using his powers, to find out that the imposter Kitty is a Skrull. So we come to Skrulls, and they're panicking, and because there's X-Men are on their planet, and because they say some of these look similar to the characters we've seen in broadcasts that are called the X-Men, because of course Gambit is new. Like, all these broadcasts are from years and years ago, and Gambit's new. And Nightcrawler's never really seen because he teleports and works in the shadows. And Marrow, she's pretty much brand new. And Professor Xavier, of course, he is secretly immune, so that's why they have like question marks by them instead, because they don't know who they are really. Of course, they don't know so much who the X-Men are because the television broadcast at the time don't give them any details, because their broadcasts are from years and years ago, like when Kitty first joined the X-Men and she called herself Sprite and wore the costume with, the hood on it and the mask that covered her face. So anyway, that's how old, their broadcasts are. So basically, and then they see Galactus and they're like, no, this can't be true. It's a mutant trick, And then we see the X-Men fighting all these Skrulls, and you can recognize Gladiator, and Corsair, Fang, Hepzibah, and just other members of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. And Professor Xavier decides that he's going to try to contact Galactus. Wow, I'm sorry, I can't talk today. Telepathically, in order to, communicate with him and hopefully to save this planet. And they're saying, you shouldn't do this. It's not a good idea. So he goes to Galactus, and Galactus is like, you're not supposed to be here. And Xavier, tries to reason with him. He's like, I know of your history. I know of your eternal hunger, but, consuming the life energies one world after another. But I also speak now to your heart. I see it in your eyes, Ancient One. You are more than the unfeeling force of nature described by a few survivors of your passing. On behalf of the 8 billion Skrull souls who will perish if you proceed, I appeal to you for mercy. This, and then Galactus cuts him off and says, you do not belong here. And he's like, true, I'm not supposed to be here, but I mean, the details are not important, but I'm trying to save these people. And Galactus says, why would you save these Skrulls, like, who are warring people? Like, they only know, they only know hate. They only know battle. Why would you defend them? Like, yet you defend them. And basically, Xavier projects like all the Skrulls' minds into Galactus's mind. All these, the Skrulls that are scared, and fearful and anxious. And he projects all that, into Galactus. And he's like, open your eyes, World Slayer. See what I see for a moment. For even you cannot stand the feelings of an entire race. So we go back and we see X-Men again, like fighting Havoc, Captain Britain, Medusa. Gives her a haircut, just shaves all her hair off. And Wolverine is, basically saved by Kitty and Thunderbird, Adam Warlock, and Captain Marvel. She's like, relax, Wolverine. They're on our side. They heard Professor Xavier's radio warning, like he, projected in everyone's head. But Warpath, Warlock is a telepath, and so when he looked into my mind, he saw it was true. But basically, what she says is they're fugitives from their own people. The problem is that because all of these characters, like their counterparts on Earth, have died, then they're considered useless. And being useless in the Skrull society is a crime. So basically, that's why they were thinking that Kitty was coming to kill them and exterminate them, and that's why they've been on the run since they their counterparts are dead, then they're no longer useful. And Wolverine's like, we need to get off of here fast. We need transportation. And Captain Marvel says, we can take you to a ship. And you see Gambit, he apparently luckily found a med pod and put Marrow in it, because he's like, well, this is our only hope, like, fighting his way through Skrulls, so that Marrow can be saved. And then you see Xavier still trying to reason with Galactus, which, can't really reason with Galactus. So, Galactus says, although you would have me moved by, the supposed nobility and goodness of the huddled masses below, I will see you touched by the depths of their hatred instead. And Xavier's like, why? They're warriors, and yet they're frightened beyond all measure. People should not be judged by their lowest and most base instincts, but by their highest aspirations, by the very best. And Xavier stops, and he's like, he's not listening to me. Like, he hears me, but he's not listening. And he's already, like, fading away. So apparently, there's only one ship on this whole planet that can get them off planet. And all the Skrulls have also, descended on it, trying to get free also. And so they're all fighting their way, like Wolverine, Kitty, Captain Marvel, Warlock, and Thunderbird, fighting their way to this ship through all the Skrulls. And we see Marrow, who comes, out of MedPod, and Gambit's like, is that you? And she's like, yeah, I feel wonderful. And it looks like her bone growth is under control. And she's actually, like, pretty. And as I talked about in X-Men 72, all she ever wanted was to be pretty, to be accepted, to be like one who can live on the surface. So Galactus is like, I'm beyond morality. Like, you thought you could change me. Yet if you knew this was the way it was, you must have known this is the way it would be. So they get to the ship finally. They clear all the Skrulls, but but Warlock is wounded, and Kitty's like, "Come with us." You know, Warlock says, "Take the ship and hurry. The planet's doomed." And Kitty says, "Come with us. You leave this place." And Warpath says, "No," or Thunderbird says, "No. Our only desire was to be part of Skrull society once more because our deep cover physical transformations were so complete and permanent. We were excluded by our own. Now at least we can be with our kin again, if only in death." So that's the reason why they were being hunted, is that their physical transformations, like, they can't shift back. They can't change into anything else. They're no longer Skrulls, so to speak. These are their permanent forms now. And since those heroes have died, then there's no reason for them. They're useless. Like, they can't go to Earth because those heroes are dead. So they can't infiltrate anything, because obviously if they went to Earth, those heroes being dead, people would know something was wrong. They would. So they're useless. They have no use. So they're being hunted by the Skrulls to be eliminated. So he says, "So now we can be a part of the Skrull society again, if only in death." And Warlock says, "Go, but first a gift." So he touches Kitty on the forehead, and the professor, he says he doesn't have enough energy to get back to his physical body, but Galactus pushes him back to his body. And he's like, "I tried, I really tried, but there was no reasoning with him. I failed us all." And so Gambit and Marrow join back up with Storm and Colossus and Xavier, and then they all get beamed up in this ship. And basically, the gift that Warlock gave Kitty is the knowledge on how to operate a Skrull ship. So she's like, "I'm going to try to get us out of here." And they basically leave and watch the planet be destroyed. And here you go. Here, this is what I mean. Like, Mara just wanting to be pretty. Like, here she is admiring herself in the reflection. And that's all she wanted, was to be pretty and accepted, which I guess a lot of us, deep down, that's what we want. um, I mean, yeah, especially girls. We want, we want to be accepted. We want to be, of course, we want to be pretty, but we also want to be accepted for who we are. So basically, Kitty says, "I programmed this to take us the long way around, but that'll take years. So we're going to exist in a stasis field. No drugs, no gas. It's just like suspended animation. And we'll go in and we'll, come back out, basically when we're at our own time." So they come back and they see, they wake up, they come back, like, they're programmed to wake up, and they come back to see Earth. And Kitty's like, "Am I good or what?" And Nightcrawler says, "I think you may have miscalculated." And you see this pulse of energy coming from a tower. And this is when Magneto disrupted the Earth's magnetic field, caused an electromagnetic disruption and basically held the world hostage, and demanded Genosha as a sanctuary for mutants and mutants only, and they had to, basically, the UN had to leave them alone. Like, that was, his island, which seems vaguely familiar because now Kuroka is, the X-Men mutants island, and no humans allowed, so to speak. So history kind of repeats itself there. Well, and of course Magneto, he's, really big on that because he had Asteroid N as a sanctuary for mutants, and now he's, Genosha as a sanctuary for mutants. And they realized that they got back to Earth, even before they left. And they realized that they can stop Magneto from, holding the world hostage and the UN giving in to him. And they can save Joseph, who was killed by Astra. And, it's like, can we really change history? And all of a sudden, they are knocked, like, off course, like, and out by some force. So they're knocked away. So Xavier, in his mind, hears the Galactus' words echoed. The way it was is the way it would be. Meaning, even though Xavier tried to change history, he couldn't. So what happens is they end up on Muir Island, present day, so to speak. And yeah, so I just thought that was really interesting. Like I never thought about the ramifications of, okay, if you're impersonating a character or a person, a superhero being, and they die, then what happens to you? Since the transformation's permanent, then what? I mean, apparently, with the Skrulls being the way they are, the militaristic society, you're considered useless, and so you have to be eliminated, which that's really harsh. But I just thought that was, really interesting and a really interesting insight into the Skrulls in the light of the Secret Invasion series that they're doing on Disney Plus. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you will subscribe and join me for videos in the future. And maybe in the comments tell me, like, what do you want to see? Like, what would you like to see next? I mean, I have all these ideas, and then I forget that I'm gonna do them, and then something else like Secret Invasion pops up, so I'm like, oh, I should do a video about that instead. So I'm all over the place. But yeah, if there's anything you'd like me to touch on, just let me know in the comments. Until next time, bye. Oh, and I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching these videos and supporting me and my channel, and just allowing me to share my passions with you. So until next time, bye.